All right, this is going to be a quick 2-minute advice help type of video about on your own example 3. So on your own example 3 is modeled after we did guided example 3. In guided example 3, we were asked to solve a trig equation. An equation, whether it's a trig equation, a polynomial equation, maybe a rational equation, exponential or logarithmic, we had tons of equations all throughout Algebra 2. At the very beginning, you first learned like single variable equations, things that only had x, and they were usually linear, meaning x was to the first power. And those were easy peasy lemon squeezy. But as soon as we hit quadratic, which is second degree, a power of 2 or bigger, we had these bonus steps. What you need to associate with the word solve every time you see it is to set it equal to 0, factor, and then use zero product property. That should be synonymous in your brain with the word solve. This one happened to be equal to 0 already, so we didn't have to get it equal to 0. Now we couldn't factor it right away, but after we implemented some double angle identity, because it's in the double angle identity section, boom, cleaned it up, yada, yada, we got to factoring and setting each piece equal to 0. And we went into more detail why it was only the numerator and whatnot in that example. So here, what's your advice? First of all, you want to get it equal to the 0. So you're going to have to subtract sin x from both sides. Next, we want to factor, but you can't factor sin x out yet because we have a sin x and this one will be assigned 2x. They're not like terms. You don't have a common factor or GCF, greatest common factor. That means we got to do something else. Again, that's your double angle. Let's use our double angle identity. We should all know what sin 2x is equal to. It's equal to 2 times something, right? In your lesson intro notes. So once you replace that, times cosine minus sin x equals 0. You could also do something with that times cosine and a piece of that double angle identity, clean it a smidge. Now you could take out your greatest common factor. Take that out front. That is a factor. Maybe you don't put parentheses around it, but it's a factor. You can put parentheses. This is where the zero product property comes next. You're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. You're not done when you get sin x equals 1/2 or sin x equals 1, sin x equals 0, sin x equals negative root 2 over 2. No, you're not done. Now solve for x. Go to the unit circle, use your brain. What angles between 0 and 2 pi make that true? And that's how you get your answers. So I hope this advice is helpful. And if you have more specific questions, you're going to ask me during class.